Okay, we're talking today. This is Brian Childress, Valdosta Police Department, retired chief, and we're talking about public relations, your public information officer, and developing communications with your community that you serve.
Well, law enforcement, they're finally coming around, most law enforcement, or some law enforcement. There is a need now because of social media, YouTube, instant access to video data and so on. There's a need to revamp the traditional way of dealing with public information. The traditional way that government and law enforcement used to deal with public information would be, let's say you had an incident, we'll deal with police for example. You had a bad incident happened. Well, because the only people who had the video and had that information was law enforcement in the old days, before social media, you could afford, if the media or the public asked a question about it, you could say, well, it's an active investigation, so until the investigation's over, we're not comment on that. Well, the problem is now everybody has a cell phone, everybody has instant access to social media and YouTube and so on. So that stuff can be put up there. So you can no longer afford to hide behind the traditional thinking of, okay, it's an active investigation. You got to put something out there. The other thing I think that law enforcement need to understand is, and in the government, but mainly law enforcement, is look, you have body cameras. So in the old days, if you had an officer involved shooting, you may not have video of it, even if you had an in-car camera. Now, because everybody has body cameras, that you should be able to get pretty quickly determine what happened in most cases. So you should be able to say, yeah, it appears the officer was correct or the officer was wrong. And so hiding behind that active investigation is not working. It certainly has not worked. Like in my old department, they had an incident happen, and I think they tried to do that. The other thing is that I'm starting to see law enforcement across the country, when I do these inspections, that they're coming around to that. I think chiefs and sheriffs are starting to understand it, especially in the northern and the western states. They're starting to pick up on, look, we got to put something out there. In regards to public information, there's another new trend going on. You know, when you choose a public information officer, now this may not be politically correct, but it's simply the truth. You need to get someone who, that person that's speaking for your department needs to, one, look like the community you serve, be very, very, this is probably the most important part, be very, very good communicator, and not just speak police lingo, but speak, you know,
The layperson,
how a person would talk. And then the part that's probably not going to be popular, but it's true, is you want to find someone that, whether it be male or female, they're attractive. If they're attractive, they're going to be attracted to the public, they're going to look good, and then they're going to be believable. So the trend is now that law enforcement, certainly in the northern and western states, are going away from using police officers or sworn folks as public information officers, and now they're hiring reporters or former reporters that have that background, that degree and experience, and they know how to talk to the public. And the other part is that they're usually good looking, and they have empathy for the media. And so that's the trend that I'm seeing, maybe not in the South, but in the northern and western states, they're starting to pick up on that. And having that kind of person in dealing with media and the public up front is really part of community policing.
Thank you very much. All right, y'all have a good day.